Welcome to Oregon Outdoors, I'm Mark Freeman. Now, this week we're doing something really fun. Dudes on Wheels. We're celebrating interesting people doing fascinating things on tires. I tell you, you won't believe the crazy stuff skilled people can do on wheels of all different sizes. We're talking one-wheeled unicycles on mountain trails. Two tiny wheels on a scooter shredding it at a concrete skate park, hitting big air and big tricks that look effortless, almost like ballet. There's even a future Olympic hopeful hitting 45 miles an hour on a road bike. Yeah, it's sketchy for sure, but sketchy is catchy. So our first dude on wheels is Bodie Soul, whose tricks honed at the Medford, Oregon skate park has him on the cusp of traveling the world. Hey, if video games can make kids millionaires, why not scooters? So Bodie, how did you become this guy?
Well, I think it's just been a really awesome process of just riding as much as I can and just having fun with it. I think that's the biggest part, is just, I love to do this. So that's one of the main reasons I do it.
You know, watching it's really obvious you love it. I mean, you've got a ton of tricks, but you look really smooth out there.
Thank you.
And isn't that what you're really going for?
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of want to feel out the ramps and just you're kind of like merging with it as you go up them, and just like they kind of control you, if that makes sense.
When did this start?
It started about 4 years ago, so that was around 2017, 2018.
And you just picked up a scooter and just started going?
Yeah, I had like a little Razor when I was younger, and then I got one of these, I think it was the summer of 2017 actually, and just started to ride it around and had a ton of fun, and then just slowly started progressing. When
did you feel like this was your thing? Because it starts off just as fun, right?
Yeah.
And it stays fun, but somewhere along the line, you had to say to yourself, whoa. What was your whoa moment?
I think I used to play a lot of like team sports like soccer and hockey and things like that, and I don't know, for some reason I never really liked them. And then I kind of just picked this up, and once I started to learn more like simpler tricks like tail whips and bar spins and like 360s and things like that, I think I started to just realize like, hey, this is pretty fun, and I can kind of enjoy myself when I'm doing this instead of being like worrying about what other people think of me. I can kind of just enjoy myself and progress in my own way.
You ever get scared?
Definitely, yes, a lot.
So how do you deal with that?
I think just breathing is a very big part of it, and just kind of, just relaxing and not thinking about it too much is what really helps me.
Tell me about your first backflip.
So I went to Arizona. They have a lot of foam pits and things like that, which is a very good way to learn it. That's how I learned it. And there's this material called resi, and it's like a tarp, or it's like a very thick tarp with like a bunch of sponges underneath it. And so that's just a very nice way to learn it, and it's a lot less intimidating. And so I kind of just started to practice them onto that after the foam pit, and I eventually landed it and then started doing them.
What about your first time on concrete?
I think it wasn't that scary actually. I lost them for a while after coming back to Oregon from that Arizona, and then I went back to California and went to a similar facility. And they had a cement ramp there that was pretty much the same as the resi or the wood. And so I think I just got very comfortable with them there, and then so it just felt like clockwork when I did it here.
So you're going to go to the International Championships.
I am.
Isn't that crazy?
It's very crazy. I'm super excited.
Are you intimidated at all by it?
Absolutely.
It's so cool. You're so honest about all this stuff. But so how are you gonna push all that out so you can go do what you need to do as well as you can? Because you can't really ask more of yourself than that. And the chips fall where they fall, right?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to try to have as much fun as it, and I'm just looking at it as an awesome experience for me to be able to go to Denmark and just see the world just because of this metal thing right here.
Well, that's pretty cool. So if you didn't discover the scooter, what would it be? What would it be?
Probably would be, probably would play hockey or probably rollerblade or skateboard probably.
See, your dad comes out. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I used to come to this place, man, when my kids would run. They run around, they do half the things you do, and I always made sure I came with full $20 copay insurance in my pocket, ready to roll. Just watching you makes me think 911 on speed dial.
Yeah, it's super awesome to have him just supporting me, and my whole family is really supportive, so that's super awesome.
It's great. Great, man. Up here in the Ashland watershed, you see a lot of dudes on wheels in these mountain trails, but I tell you, come up here, there's one thing you never really expect to see. These guys. It's exactly what you think. Guys on unicycles on mountain trails. Jeff, how do you and this thing end up on a mountain trail?
Well, I wouldn't do it on a bike. So, I mean, I've been riding unicycles since the Carter administration, and honestly, I haven't been on a bike in about 8 or 10 years. And so coming down the trails is really the only way I would even consider doing it.
You think this is safer than riding a bike?
For me, it is. For other people, no, but for me, yeah, this is my skill set. Bikes, I don't do bikes. They're scary.
So this thing, you got to pedal the entire time. Going up. It looks to me like going up is easier than coming down.
No, the opposite. Going up requires a lot more force, a lot more energy. Going down is, especially trails like this, it's nice and flowy. It's fun.
But your feet got to keep up to the wheel.
Well, yeah.
Is that hard?
Well, again, my comparison is not to bikes. So this is just the way I travel on wheel.
How long have you been riding these trails up around Ashland?
Since about 2008.
How did it happen?
I got a 36-inch wheel unicycle that, bigger wheels go farther and faster when it comes to unicycles. And so that opened up the watershed. I started riding up the loop road and down some of the trails. And 2009, I got this, my 26-inch mountain unicycle. And so this opened up more of the more technical trails like Jabberwocky. And it's just been a lot of fun ever since.
You wipe out much?
Not much. I mean, I have, but usually not so bad.
Even riding down something like this is...
Yeah, this is fun, but it's not like scary, dangerous. It's just, it's a good ride.
You bring your $20 copay with you every time out here, don't you?
I haven't needed it yet.
So how did you get involved with this stuff?
So I was born in Japan, and unicycles at that time were kind of a schoolyard toy. So basically everybody my age in Japan knew how to ride a unicycle.
Really?
Yeah, and it's funny because it's like a kid's toy there. You don't see too many adults riding it.
Where do you put yourself these days?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I like to think of myself kid spirited still.
How did you transition from playing in the schoolyard to riding trail?
Yeah, so there was a long time where I hadn't touched a unicycle, and then some of my friends got into unicycling and were, encouraging me to get into the mountains and getting on the trail. So that really piqued my interest.
How many years have you been doing this?
I'd say about 5 years. Yeah.
What's the hardest part of doing this?
Just getting started. It's not really that hard. You just got to get going.
It's good for the legs, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it's a great workout everywhere.
It looks dangerous. I mean, it really does. I mean, you just make sure your feet keep up with your pedals.
Sure.
To me, it looks pretty sketchy.
Well, there's a few things, right? You can't go that fast, and there's no handlebar, right? So you never go over your handlebars. You just walk off. So.
What about those bank turns?
Oh, it's just like a bike. You just lean into it, and it's even more flowy than a mountain bike. It's great.
Well, you're on your own, buddy. I'm not doing this.
All right. Well, soon. We'll get you started.
Whether you're on one wheel, two wheels, or 2 feet, the Ashland Watershed Trail System is set up to keep hikers and bikers safely apart. So Torsten, we're on the top of your new Snark Trail up here in the Ashland Watershed, and you know, it's a way to keep hikers and bikers from kind of getting into each other's stuff. How did this work?
So this is a long time in the making. It's about 4 or 5 years for us to actually get this going. Originally the problem was that there's a very steep section of this trail and bikers would be flying down, meanwhile hikers would be heads down, maybe headphones in, not paying attention. And so it was a perfect bad recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
And this pedestrian-only trail creates a parallel path just for pedestrians. And we have some design features like these boulders and these stairs that indicate to mountain bikers that it's not for them. We also have signage that tells pedestrians, hey, this is for you, and this is not for you.
Yeah. That's the great thing. It's like everybody loves this watershed. There's no reason why anybody shouldn't have to not come up here because there's too many of somebody else working up here at the same time.
There's plenty of trails for everybody. There's plenty of space. And part of our quest is to create solutions so that more people can enjoy the watershed, whether they're on bikes, hiking, skiing, on a horse, whatever it might be.
Well, it's been a long effort, but it's really paying out.
Yeah.
Today we're talking dudes on wheels, and I tell you, there's no faster 15-year-old dude on wheels than this guy. So Jade, you gotta tell me, what's it like to be so fast?
It's just a great feeling, like I'm only thinking about what I'm currently doing on the bike, and I'm not thinking about anything else. There's no distractions. It's just focusing on the bike. And
Some of these things you were doing today, you were going 45 miles an hour. I mean, that's like,
yeah, I mean, some people have a fear of speed and crashing, but I've crashed many times before, but I get over it, and the risk of going fast is worth it.
So you've been in a lot of these road races, and there are a lot of crashes.
Yeah,
and they've gotta hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always watched you guys, and I saw the video of that race back in December. You kind of biffed on there, and everybody ggets back up, and you just start going again. Is that hard?
I mean, in the moment, there's so much adrenaline running through me. Sometimes I'll forget about the crash a moment later, and I'm just focusing on riding at the moment.
So you started off riding bikes when you were 4 years old, from what I hear from your mom, and you crashed right away.
Yeah.
Split your head open.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that didn't detain you from this stuff at all?
Not at all. It just made me want to get better and improve.
When I hear from your coaches, they're like, oh, this guy wants to ride, oh, whatever, because you're friends with your coach's son.
Yeah.
And you wanted to just do these races, and all of a sudden you were doing awesome. Did that surprise you?
Yeah, it really did. I never thought that I'd be riding with the top level racers, and a goal for me was to always get on a really high level team, and I was not expecting to get onto Team Lux. It's just incredible.
So how is it you're this top-notch racer in this one little niche of your world, and then you're just an Ashland High kid? How does that work? How do you put those two together?
Around here, I feel I'm pretty good, and then when I go to a nationals race, everybody is just as good as me, same level. It's all everything is challenging, and it just makes me want to improve and get faster.
Can you imagine life as a 15-year-old without this thing?
Riding on like the highest end equipment, it really helps me focus on training because I never have problems with the bike or mechanicals or anything. And it's really helpful for training and just focusing on getting faster on the bike.
Let's talk about training. How often you ride every day, as long as
yeah.
weather permits?
Yeah, pretty much.
What's your schedule for a week?
Usually I'll try to ride around 2 hours a day and then longer on the weekends. My training schedule is really just dependent on the weather and how much schoolwork I have.
In 2 hours, how many miles do you get in 2 hours?
Usually between 30 and maybe 45, depending on how much climbing I do in that day.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So are you pretty whipped when you're done?
Yeah, I usually try to finish my ride with my legs completely out of energy.
And the next day you do it again. You know why? It's because you're 15 years old, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really cool. One of the things that I've heard about you is that not only you've got great mental capacity for dealing with this, but lung capacity. Tell me about that.
I've always loved like running and cycling, and I've always noticed like when I run, I usually don't like get out of breath as much as some of my friends would.
One of the cool things about this, not only you help coach them, your family, friends, but you're a professor at SOU in physiology. And you've been able to test this guy. So what is all this?
So this is the metabolic cart, and it's a really cool machine, and it tests aerobic fitness and basically performance. Basically, he's breathing in from ambient air. So the air that he's blowing out is going into a mixing chamber, and it's analyzing the amount of oxygen he's utilizing, the amount of CO2 he's producing. And from that, we can get a determination of his aerobic fitness.
And how's he rate?
He rates in the Olympic category. His number is the highest that we've had in this lab.
So the buzz around here is you're an Olympic hopeful, because not only you're fast, but you've got the body that can absorb this kind of thing. That's got to be a little weird, isn't it, to hear that about yourself?
Yeah, definitely. When I took the VO2 max test here at SOU, I was really surprised at the results that I got.
And those results tell you you're off the charts.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, yeah.
Not kind of, you are. I mean, you are. Do you let yourself think about that? I mean, knowing this is like 6-8 years down the road, right? You let yourself think that?
I definitely think about the possibilities of maybe riding at the Olympic level, and like knowing that I have like the natural lung capacity for that, possibly.
Well, I'll be one of those guys saying, I knew that guy would win.
You know? Yeah, thank you.
So, your next goal, your next big race is what?
Road Nationals.
Okay.
Last year, I finished top 5 in the time trial as a 15-year-old, so the younger rider. So this year, I'll be a 16-year-old, and I think I have a good chance at possibly winning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're going to get a better starting spot than you did this last one.
Yeah, definitely.
You were way in the back this one,
Yeah.
I hear, and you had to make up tons of time just to get into the mix, and you ended up just off the podium.
Yeah.
But you should have been there, man. But
Yeah.
15, hey.
Yeah, yeah. I get a second chance this year.
Awesome.